Hello, everyone.
Go on.
Welcome to this session of Talking Books. I am pleased to host the very distinguished Aekta Kapoor. Today, we will be talking about her book, Everything Changed After That. I will begin with introducing myself. I am Eliza, and I am from Russia. I'm 19 years old, and I'm a student in Wollongong University in Dubai. And now I'll introduce Aekta Kapoor. Aekta is the New Delhi-based editor and founder of Ishi magazine and the author of the spiritual memoir 100 Paths. After a long career as an award-winning lifestyle and fashion journalist, heading prestigious publications and websites, Aekta now focuses on gender equality, social justice, and peace building through her writing initiatives. She was mentored for the DO Scholars Industry Disruptor 2020 by UN Women in India and Europe, and for the NITA IOG UN Investor Consortium Consortium in Women Entrepreneurs 2020. So I would like to start with the questions. So how did the idea for the short story contest develop?
Yes, hi, Eliza. Thank you for introducing me. And let me give you a little background about the book. So this is what the book is, and it's developed out of a contest that we had on Ishi. And Ishi is a magazine. It's a digital. It was a print magazine as well before the lockdown. And the idea of we've always been a platform for women writers, and we've in 2019 we started having contests. So the first one was a flash fiction contest, and then during the lockdown we had a poetry contest. And then I was approached by Embassy Books and by Aruna Joshi, who's the editor-in-chief of Embassy Books, to do this contest. And she said, we'll select 20 writers and we'll publish a book, of short stories based on who the winners are. And it started out with a vision for 20 writers, and we expected that there would be, say, 60 or 70 entries, because we gave a very short time period for the contest. We gave our writers only 1 month, from the 1st of September to the 30th of September, to send us their stories of 2,000 words. And we thought, we'll have some 60, 70 entries and we'll choose 20 out of them. But we actually ended up with 216 entries.
Wow.
And I think the people were at home in the pandemic, or whatever the reasons were, but we got a lot of interest. And what was also interesting was that there were a lot of conversations that were happening parallel to the contest. So we ended up creating a larger community of women writers, and for me that was personally very interesting to observe, and I felt very humbled to be a part of something like that. So yeah, we had 3 judges. That was me and Aruna, of course. And we also had Preeti Shinoy, who's one of India's top-selling women writers. And so we had to then judge this contest with so many brilliant writers and amazing stories from all corners of India. We had restricted ourselves to Indian writers. So that's how it started.
And was it during the pandemic that you started the project? Was it
Yes.
influenced by it?
Yeah, it happened. The idea came up in August of 2020, and the conversation between me and Embassy Books. And the contest was launched on the 1st of September of 2020, and it closed on the 30th of September. And we were supposed to announce the results at the end of October. So yes, everything was happening while most of the country, parts of the country were in lockdown, and people were not able to go to work, and there were a lot of restrictions and a lot of things. And actually the pandemic did come up as a theme in some of the stories as well, so people did write about that.
And as you mentioned, there were a lot of stories coming in. So was it hard to choose from them? How did you manage to do that?
Oh my goodness, it was very, very hard. So we had 400,000 words to read in just 4 weeks, the judges. So that's the kind of reading we had to do in addition to all the other work that we do. And I remember that Aruna and I, we used to message each other like, where have you reached? You know, which number have you reached? And so we were competing with each other. It was a very, very difficult, the job as a jury member was one of the most difficult jobs I think I've had, not just because of the sheer volume of stories, but the kind of stories that were coming. Some of them didn't make it to the winners list, but I still remember them. They're so memorable and they left such an impact on me. And so in both in terms of quantity and quality, it was phenomenal. We had a very interesting mix of people writing in, and it was a very enriching experience. It was quite challenging.
That is great to hear, really. So, some of the themes of the stories included patriarchy, slavery, online education, and a lot of different ones, which made it like there were very diverse topics. And do you feel this competition and now this book is enabling and celebrating women's voices to be heard more?
Yes, absolutely. Because as Ishi, as a magazine, we do share women's stories. I interview a lot of women, and we feature a lot of women's stories. But these are real life stories, and it's everything is on the record. So women may not necessarily be sharing their real truths, or maybe they were sharing only part of their truth. Whereas here, you've given women this fiction, this huge platform of fiction where they can just write what they want to write. And I have a feeling that more truths have come out in the fiction rather than on the non-fiction platform of the magazine. For instance, let's take the topic of slavery. This is not a word that you associate in today's day and age for Indian women, but if you read some of the stories, whether they're a housewife, a homemaker who is, bound at home, she has to look after her family, she's to look after her ailing mother-in-law. She has no choice in the matter. Neither can she pick up and leave the situation. What is that but not slavery? It is slavery, then there was a story about a farm worker, a worker on a tea estate, who has no choice, but she's sexually harassed by her boss. And because she badly needs the job, she cannot leave the job. So, first of all, she's underpaid. She's not paid as much as the men. And on top of that, she also has to give sexual services. So, these kind of stories, you would not, if you asked a woman her real life story, she will not share these things. But these kind of things have come out through the form of the fiction contest. And I think that they raised a lot of questions that in today's day and age, are we really free? Are women free? And how free are we? And we talk about choice, but isn't this choice really between a devil and a hard place? We don't really have the choice of the big blue ocean, not yet. And I think those are the kind of variety of scenarios that came up. Psychology. Looking at the way mental health during the pandemic, so many different kinds of topics came up, and it was a hugely brilliant experience for me as a reader and as a woman and as an editor and somebody who observes social behavior. It was very enlightening for me to read these kind of stories, and some of them didn't make it to the book, but they were real life stories and they were remarkable stories. So we actually carried them, two of them, on the Ishi platform because they were worth sharing, and they had never been shared on any other platform because these women had never thought about writing their own story. So here they got this opportunity to write it, and wow, it really was worth it. It was worth reading.
That sounds really amazing. And so, did you have an image what you expected exactly from this contest? Like what stories maybe you expected, and were you surprised or maybe shocked by them?
Because I've been working in women's magazines for a very long time, I always used to think, I can't be surprised. Nothing surprises me that I have seen it and done it all, and I know everything there is to know about Indian women, and But I was surprised. I was surprised by the range of stories and the topics that came up. I was surprised about women's ambition, the depth of their knowledge, and really how they were able to bring in all aspects of life as an Indian woman. The past, the present, the future. They were able to bring in their workplace, their personal life. So many different stories came up that it was really quite unexpected for me, and I think it was unexpected for all of us. And I remember even Preeti messaging me that, wow, what are these stories? These are some of them are so brilliant. And interestingly, because all three of us, all the three judges, had completely different tastes in reading, and what I liked, the other two may not have liked it. So really, at the end of it, that we couldn't fix on 20 winners, so we had 25 winners eventually. But these 25 winners have got the votes of all three, judges. So, it appealed to all three of us. So in that sense, I'm very glad that we all had very different tastes in reading. One was looking at it from the publisher's point of view. I was looking at it from a feminist point of view, and Preeti was looking at it from a storyteller's point of view. So, we had the mix of all those kinds of stories in the book.
And could you tell us more about the writers, the participants, the demographics, and what does like that tell us about their work of literature?
Yeah, we had all range of people. We had teenagers, and we had much older women in their 70s. We had homemakers and students and professionals, women who were already on the top of their profession. We also had people who have been writing, who've been professional storytellers from the film industry. So we really had a very big range of writers. But I think what united them is that they love telling stories, and many of them had not been published for the first time. I mean, had never been published. So for them, this was the first time. Most of the writers who participated in the contest were first-time writers, and they were hoping to be published. I remember I think the youngest participant was, I think, just 16 or 14, or she was a teenager. And one girl had actually written with color pencils. She'd written the whole story in color pencils. So we really had a big range of people like that, and it was quite interesting. And some of the writers are here in the room today. Shalini is here, and Sapna is here. So maybe I don't know. Would you guys like to put on your camera and so that we can see you? Yeah, there's Shalini. Yes, hi Shalini. So she's a twice winner on Ishi contest. She had won another contest earlier that we had, and this was the second one. And there's Urvashi, Dr. Urvashi is here as well. And Sapna Dogra is here as well.
Hello, nice to meet you. Do you think that the contest encouraged people to continue or like progress in their literature careers?
Yeah, I think you can ask our writers to start with. And Shalini, we've created a WhatsApp group of 25 writers, and they're constantly encouraging each other. It's really beautiful for me to see how their friendships are blossoming. And when one of them writes something, the others encourage her that, wow, that's great. And so Shalini was just sharing how she's now been encouraged to write, and she's doing a lot of writing now. She's a techie who is now a full-time writer. So Charlie, would you like to share how this contest, and is it going to encourage your writing from now on?
Yes, Aekta, definitely. Actually, she had provided me a very great platform starting from 2019, I guess, because we have a 2-year long relationship right now. So I think it's wonderful that all these women have come together, and all the 25 of us as become a tribe, and how we encourage each other and things like that. And it's very heartwarming thing, and it's it's giving each other courage to write more and giving encouragement. So it doesn't happen if you are isolated and sitting in a room and writing. So definitely it has given a great platform for all of us. I'm sure lots and lots of more stories are going to come. And personally, I feel that Ishi has been a big part of my writing career. So it's just, I'm a very young writer. I just have started writing for 2 years, but I think Ishi has been a big part, and this book especially has given me a lot of friends, a lot of travelers in my writing journey. So I'm sure a lot of stories are going to come up from this book, especially.
Yeah, great, great.
Thank you.
And Dr. Urvashi is here. Dr. Urvashi is a former Navy doctor. And this is like a second career for her, or it's more like a passion at the moment, I guess. But it's a career too, right? You published a book now.
Yes, I have. And the second one's doing its rounds.
Yes, a book for children as well.
Yeah, my second one is also for children.
Okay.
But otherwise, yes, I have taken part in a few anthologies now, but I've basically done children work. So.
And Sapna, you're a journalist, but this is, fiction. So how has this been different for you?
I think it has been amazing. And this is my first experience of fiction writing because I've been a business journalist. So, I've been telling different stories for almost 2 decades. So this was I took it as a challenge actually to write something which was closer to my heart. So I wanted to see how it will be received by people. I was very happy when it was selected, and it has given me, confidence to write more of, take this journey forward. So
yeah,
I am thinking, in fact, I've started writing something new. So let us see how it shapes up. But it was amazing. The whole experience is amazing. Thank you so much, Aekta.
The story that I talked about modern day slavery, I think that's what Sapna brought up.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could
when you're stuck in a situation and you can't get out and you're not paid and you just kind of live there and you just have to suffer it day after day after day. What is that but not slavery,
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Back to you, Eliza. Sorry, we just completely hijacked the whole thing with all of us.
But that's great. There's so many new authors now. It's really heartwarming to hear. And how would you suggest students or other young adults who don't feel empowered to change anything in this world, how could we help in fighting the gender inequality? Where could we start?
So, any kind of empowerment, whether it's gender empowerment or any other, I think it always begins with us. When we work on ourselves, when we empower ourselves first, we create a ripple effect in society and we influence the 4 or 5 people around us, and then they influence the people around them. So I think the first thing a young person should do is to constantly look at your own responses. Are you falling for stereotypes? Are you following what rules other people have made for you? Are you blindly going by what society has defined as your role? Or are you maybe perpetuating gender stereotypes in your own way without realizing it? So we constantly keep questioning yourself, keep asking yourself questions. Where did that come from? We talk about say women not being financially empowered in countries where there is patriarchy. But in the same country where there is patriarchy, are the men empowered? I mean, do they have the freedom to just give up their job and go and play music in the mountains? Because patriarchy has bound them as much in the breadwinner's role as it has taken away the financial empowerment from the woman. So we need to constantly keep questioning these stereotypes that we have in our head and assigning people to certain roles and to have a more open approach to how we look at things. And when you start empowering yourself, you automatically, when you empower yourself in an authentic way, you automatically become an example for other people, and then you're able to influence them better. Because if you are miserable and if you're disempowered and if you're crying all the time and complaining about your life, you're not really going to go there and inspire anybody. Nobody's going to believe you. So I think it begins with you, and with you being able to feel empowered in your space and to be able to take decisions that are based on authentic choices, and they're not born out of something that somebody has selected for you or yoked you with. You're taking an informed decision and you're taking responsibility for your own happiness, and you're not waiting for somebody else to come and to serve it to you on a platter. And you're saying, you know what, I can't save the world right now, but I can save myself. Let me be happy today. Let me do one thing today that makes me happy. Let me do one thing today that makes me feel empowered. Because even if you have just a room, you still have that room. So how many steps are you taking in that room every day? So take a step in your life every single day, and automatically you will be an example for other people as well. And definitely, if you have a larger vision, keep working towards that vision. Don't ever let it go, because the resources come, the help comes, the support comes. So just keep working towards your vision. And if your vision is world peace, then begin with self peace, begin with your own happiness. And that's your biggest contribution to world peace, that you made that one person happy, and that was you. So begin with yourself. And I think as a young person, we, by the time you reach your 20s, you have a lot of social conditioning already inside you. You've already been, you're over the next 20 years, you're actually going to start shedding that social conditioning, and you're going to be like coming into who you really are. I mean, I really enjoy being in my 40s now, because I think I've let go of a lot of conditioning that I had, baggage that I had when I was in my 20s about what success is supposed to be, and what women are supposed to be, and what men are supposed to be. So I think by now a lot of that is kind of fading away. So just be more aware, question your own thoughts. Where did I get that from? Where did I get that thought from? Where did that limiting belief come from? Who told me that? Whose words are those? So keep questioning yourself, and you'll notice that when you change, the world you live in will change as well. People will change. Your responses to people will change, and people's responses to you will change. So I always say that change begins with that one person. And if you can really, really bring about that change in yourself, it's your biggest contribution to the planet.
Thank you so much. That was very inspirational. And I agree. I think any change should start within yourself.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us to the conclusion of this amazing session. Thank you, Aekta, for the wonderful conversation. And I'm so glad Urvashi, Shalini, Sapna were able to contribute to this conversation. Eliza, I'm so glad that you had the opportunity of networking and engaging with Aekta. I hope you learned a lot today.
No, I did. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Aekta, for your time and your wisdom.
Thank you, everyone. And here's the book, and it's available on Amazon, India, UK. It's available in Kindle edition. So please do read it. It's not just stories of women. It's stories told from the female gaze, from the female perspective, but they really cover all aspects of life. And like I said, they're very diverse, 25 writers, and they're very diverse stories. So if you love reading books, this is a book that you absolutely must get. And if you love gifting books, it's the perfect book, because whatever your reading taste, you're going to find some story in this that you're going to enjoy. I see one more of our writers here. Nasreen is here. So Nasreen has also written a very beautiful story in this book. Nasreen, would you like to share how this book has given you new direction in your writing? Because writing is not your first career.
Definitely not. Yeah, but it's been just amazing to, I think, like you mentioned, you put that group together. Just the encouragement, the fact that women encourage women, I think that's the best thing out of the whole thing. And how there is a faith that at least you can write something, you can share. So thank you so much for that. Yeah. Thanks, Aekta.
And I think no matter how much we talk about, exclusive spaces for women being, it's a kind of a reverse sexism to have spaces only for women. But I think there's something amazing about spaces that are just for women. And I'm very happy that we have magazines like Ananke and Ishi that create these spaces for women. And it gives us a lot of happiness, I think, a lot of sisterhood, a lot of strength that we find in these spaces.
True. Yeah, yes, we celebrate inclusion and diversity, but we need to have spaces with just focusing women. We need to have that safe space where we can talk freely and share our thoughts. But we've had male moderators and speakers, even in this event.
Yeah.
So
But
thank
that's
you,
great.
everyone. Thank you, everyone.